Hello, my name is John Leahy and I'm the Assistant Head Teacher responsible for Curriculum and Assessment. And I'd like to spend a few minutes talking to you about the assessment processes at Kyneton High School, which are designed to get the very best out of each and every child during their time at Kyneton. I'd just like to share my screen with you. Okay, so when students arrive at Kyneton, they usually come armed with a Key Stage 2 SATS test result in English and Maths, which help inform us about their starting points. This year, of course, the situation is different, and to be honest, I'm quite pleased about that, because it allows us to spend more time focusing on getting an accurate baseline in every single subject for your child. So during the last few weeks, and certainly over the next 6 weeks, teachers will be using a range of assessment techniques to ensure that they know your child's current rate of learning and can begin to project their potential progress, ensuring that they put students on a pathway that's supportive yet challenging and set targets appropriately. So the pathway model that we use at Kyneton is very similar to the pathway model you'll be familiar with at Key Stages 1 and 2. Students embark on a pathway which ranges from 7B, which is designed to support students at the beginning of their learning journey with the ultimate aim of achieving GCSEs, right up to 7P+, which would be aimed at students who are excelling in a subject with the ultimate aim of the very highest GCSE grades and further success beyond GCSE. Now, this graphic gives you a rough indication as to the outcomes the students would achieve if they maintained a steady and true rate of progress once embarking on a pathway for a subject. We'll report every term on your students' progress, and at Key Stage 3, this report would include a target pathway for each subject, a working at pathway for each subject, an indication whether the student is on track or not, and more about that in a moment, and a reflection on how a student is approaching their learning. This gives us some insight into how perhaps a student could progress even faster than they are. Now, I talked about an on-track assessment, and here's an illustration of a student who maintained a steady and true pathway, even though at different reporting stages they had reports which were both above and below the target pathway. We recognise that students don't learn in a linear way, and there will be topics and areas where students will excel, and there will be topics and areas where students might need additional support. But this is an illustration of a student who has maintained a steady path towards their ultimate goals. Now, of course, if a student consistently achieved above their target, then we would adjust targets upwards. If a student consistently achieved below their target, then we would look at intervention strategies to get those students back on track. I'm asked many questions at parents' evenings. These are 3 of the most popular, but if you have any more, please just send an email to me at jleahy@kynetonhighschool.org.uk. The 3 most popular questions I get asked is, what if the pathway my child is put on is not the right one? Well, the answer to that is we do everything we can to ensure it is, but if that were the case, then the pathway would be changed as appropriate. Another popular question is, will my child be on the same pathway for every subject? Actually, that's very rare. There are some students for whom that ends up being true, but for most students, they will have strong subjects and less strong subjects, and their pathway will reflect that And so, no, students don't all end up with the same pathway once they've got a pathway for one subject. And the third question, once my child is on a pathway, is he or she stuck on this pathway right the way through to GCSE? And as I pointed out earlier, the answer to that is absolutely not. If a student is thriving, and some students develop at a much later age to their peers, then their pathway is adjusted upwards and can be adjusted upwards more than once. Similarly, if a student needs a pathway moving down because of an extreme reason, such as prolonged absence of maybe more than a year, or some event in their life which has made the current pathway now something that needs to be built up towards rather than maintained on at the moment, then their pathway would also be adjusted. I hope this gives you some indication as to how we intend to support your child during their time at Kyneton. And of course, as I say, if you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask.